next thing I wanted to talk about, and what I was saying to Brownies, I don't know exactly how accurate this is because it's from our lads, but this is a projected depth chart, and you're looking here at the defense, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 members of the defense directly out of the transfer portal.
Yeah.
What are you expecting from the defense this year? Are you confident? Are you cautiously optimistic? Where are you at? Where's your head at?
All of the above. Confident, cautiously optimistic. I don't know what to expect from the defense. I think what to expect is improvement because that's what we've been told to expect. And that's what, when you plug in if this was like, college football 26 and you plug in these players, you absolutely know the defense is going to be one of the best in the league. But it's not. You don't know how they're going to gel. You don't know which guys are going to pan out. You don't know which guy is going to have a bad roommate and decide to go to A&M for half a semester and then come back later. So, I mean, I feel confident because at this point I've been given nothing or no reason not to trust Joey McGuire's judgment when it comes to personnel. And so, I believe it's going to be a completely different defense. And then you throw in that there's a brand new defensive coordinator at the same time as well. I think, I would almost tell you that the coordinator might affect the defensive play more than anything else. Because I think, see, all my notes are gone now because my laptop died. What is his name? Shale Wood from Houston. I think his system gels with new guys a lot better than what Tim DeRuyter's did. I think Tim DeRuyter kind of had the Gary Patterson, not exactly the same scheme, but just kind of, we're going to try to do everything we can to outsmart you. Whereas Shale Wood's whole scheme is based on you're going to run 3 to 5 sets and you're going to run them flawlessly, and they're just going to have to beat you because you don't make mistakes. Kind of like the Kansas State defense of the last 50 years. And so when you're bringing in a bunch of new guys and they're having to learn playbooks and learn positions, Shale Wood's defense is going to make a much bigger impact than what Tim DeRuyter's did, because people are just going to struggle. You saw last year, I mean, I think it was the TCU game. You gave TCU 21 points off of just blown coverages. I mean, the team played hard. They tackled well. They were athletic, but there were times where they just didn't know where they're supposed to be standing. And I think with Shale Wood, you eliminate that issue. And so after that, it just becomes, can these guys play at a high level?
Yeah, and I think the huge thing too for a lot of teams that go heavy in the transfers is you really want to dummy down originally your defensive playbook. You're talking basic cover 2, basic cover 4s, basic cover 3s, maybe a couple of different specialty blitzes. But if you pull up that projected roster again, the key players, and Chris can probably talk a little bit better about them on that specific list. Your number 1 right there at the will linebacker, which I think he actually played more Mike last year, is Jacob Rodriguez. So he is, like, from what I remember looking him up, doing research, and he was actually the defensive player to watch for the Iowa State game last year, is this dude was leading Big 12 solo tackles. He was leading the Big 12 in assisted tackles. He was leading most defensive breakups for linebackers in the Big 12, which when you're playing a 3-3-5 and you got some linebacker running around like he's a spare safety or something, that is ultra important. And with him being like that super senior player, and you have Ben Roberts coming back, and you still have Chapman Lewis, I think that those 3 specific players are what's going to probably hold that defense together. Just because, and I mean, when I'm looking at this, it looks like you still have your linebacker core, and really all your rotating and transitioning is a defensive line.
Yeah, it's the entire defensive line, yeah.
Yeah, so defensive line, I mean, I can't really speak to them because I never played D-line, but it seems pretty straightforward. You're either stinting, hitting a gap, or you're trying to swim it off of like a double block or something like that. the corner and that strong safety or star safety are probably going to be the ones that are going to have to learn the coverages the best, especially if they did not come from a 3-3-5 system. Because not only are you having to worry about that pass block, but you are the run coverage. Like, you don't have a linebacker saving your ass when you're going that direction. You are the linebacker. So I think that's where I think Tech is really going to rely on that linebacker core to kind of carry this defense with all of the transfers until they can get into that more in-depth defensive schemes, which obviously is going to come over time, but it's one of those things, can you really get it settled with spring ball and then pick it right back up in the fall?
Yeah, and I would tell you that Jacob Rodriguez is probably your biggest get in the transfer portal just by keeping him here. I don't even think he ever entered his name in the portal, but just getting a guy like that back for another season
That
was
guy is
probably
a freak.
the biggest get of the offseason, in my